Tami Mcdonald is the founder of Brookstone Wealth Management, a woman-led financial planning and wealth management firm located in Columbus, Georgia. Tami's a certified financial planner practitioner with over 3 decades of financial and investment experience. Welcome, Tami. It's good to have you.
It's good to be here.
So why do people avoid their finances?
They don't want to face it.
Why not?
They're scared. They don't know what it looks like. They don't know how to go about looking at it. They don't know how to go about setting a goal with it.
Do they feel like they're not far enough along? Is it a little bit of like out of sight, out of mind?
Yes, it's kind of like sticking your head in the sand. They feel like that it's just something that's too far out of reach for them, and or it's too hard to look at. It's too hard to realize.
I'm curious to know if you agree. In my experience, people tend to be a little more negative maybe than they should be. Like, it's not as bad as you think. Here's what you need to do. Do you agree with that?
I completely agree with that. I can't tell you the number of times that I sit down with someone and they're like, oh, wow, I'm not as bad off as I thought I was. I wish I would have done this 10 years ago.
Well, that speaks to the problem too, because if they had done it before, it wouldn't take maybe as much of an effort or, a big challenge of working it out. So by not looking at it, it kind of festers.
Sure it
right?
does. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've heard you say that not addressing your finances can be unfair or even irresponsible. That's not maybe a real popular thing to say, Tami. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, it's, been doing this for 3 decades. I've seen the irresponsibility of not taking care of your finances, number one, on yourself.
Right.
Because,
so not fair to yourself.
Not fair to yourself, or not fair to your spouse.
Right.
If you're not upfront and honest and addressing things and making sure your expenses are where they need to be and your assets are where they need to be. And it's also not fair to your family. If you don't take care of the estate and you pass away suddenly or not suddenly, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And you leave your family with a mess, and it gets even more difficult when you've got blended families, and you have so many blended families these days.
The collateral damage can be significant.
The collateral damage can be
So how do people get on the right track? What are some essential things that people need to do in terms of their wealth and just flat out with their finances? What do they need to be thinking about? Is there a process they can go through?
Well, yeah, it's I'll use some ease, as far as easing into your financial planning and easing into your goal. You have to establish some goals. You have to understand,
what do you want to accomplish?
What do you want to accomplish? Is it retiring? Is it paying for college? Is it buying a second home? Is it traveling around the world? What is your goal? You've got to establish something, and then you've got to educate yourself in order to get there.
Okay.
So you've got to understand what are your options. Usually it's better to work with someone so that you could educate yourself and not just
spin your wheels.
Spin your wheels, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you've got to evaluate where you are along the way. You've got to evaluate to make sure that that you're on track for that goal. And if not, what's knocked you off track and how you can get back on track. And a lot that can come from encouragement.
A lot of people think that financial planning is maybe like a one-time event. Say, okay, it was nice to see you, Tami. Thanks for the financial plan. I'm all set. I don't have to do anything else.
It's not set it and forget it. No, it's an ongoing process.
Where or how does a financial planner help in that process? Is it just a matter of holding people accountable, doing these reprojections, monitoring, telling them the consequences of their actions, all the above?
All the above, all the above. I think a lot of it, it's, David, we build relationships. It's not a one-way street whenever you meet with a planner. It is a relationship that you build. It's and I use the terminology a lot, and it's kind of funny, but it's I tell people they have to get naked in front of you. They have to strip down. They have to be honest and open so that you can help them with those goals. I hate to use it that way, but it's
well, it's pretty clear. I think everybody got the image.
Right.
That's good. I think everybody's got that message. And I think your point's spot on, because if you have to be honest, we have to know what you have, what's going on, because we can't give you your best advice. It's like if you go to a doctor and the doctor's like, tell me about your diet. And I'm like, oh, I don't eat anything wrong.
Right.
And then he's looking at the blood work going, come on. And we can see the blood work. We do our own lab work, right?
Right.
We look at what somebody has and we can understand and give them guidance, but we need full patient cooperation.
The
right?
good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, and we need to be able to look at that. So help people with this, Tami. What about people that look and say, gosh, I made so many mistakes. You know, I keep looking backwards and thinking I could have done that better, that better, that better. I don't know. I don't even know if you can help me. What would you say to that person?
Well, I use the analogy often that when you're in a vehicle and you look in your little bitty, little small rearview mirror, that's everything that is behind you. And it's important. It's important to have that rearview mirror and to kind of see what got you to the point where you are and make sure there are any risks coming up behind you or any challenges coming up behind you. But what's more important is that big windshield. There's a reason why that windshield is so big in your vehicle. Could you imagine going down the road and a little bitty windshield about this big? It's big because it serves a purpose. It's pushing you in the correct direction. It's so that you can see obstacles coming from the left and the right and straight ahead. It's taking you to a destination. And so I kind of look at it with building a plan that what's behind you did get you where you are today. We may have to make some changes, but what's moving in front of you, what we can do moving forward is what's going to help you achieve your goal.
That's very good. If you were sharing that analogy, I'm thinking of the only vehicle I know that has a really small windshield is a tank, and they run over everything.
Yes, they do.
So they can't see where they're going, and if they run over it, that doesn't hurt the car.
It doesn't.
I think that's really helpful, Tami, because a lot of people get so hung up with the past that they can't move forward.
That's exactly right. They get paralyzed in the past.
Very good. All right, good information.
Awesome.
Tami Mcdonald, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, David.